everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael Sandler, your host on Inspire Nation. If you've ever wanted to take your life to a new level, then do we have the show for you. Today I'll be talking with best-selling author Robin Sharma, one of the most influential authors in my life, and the author of my new all-time favorite book for transforming your life, The 5 a.m. Club. And that's just what I want to talk with him about today, about owning your morning and elevating your life. That, plus we'll talk about de-seeding lemons, cyber zombies, nightmares on wax, gotcha, failure in wolf's clothing, the importance of flowers, Nietzsche and the Taj Mahal, diving bell and the butterfly, and what in the world drama mamas have to do with anything. So welcome to the show, Robin. Are you ready to shine?
I sure am happy to be with you, Michael, and thanks a lot for the invitation.
You are most welcome. You know, I was going to ask you about all sorts of things to begin with, but I said it off air. I will say it absolutely on air. Over 1,000, we're approaching, I think, 1,050 shows here, something like that. This is my all-time favorite book for transforming your life because, like I was telling you off air, it seems like almost every single sentence is quote-worthy. Like this was either channeled, which I mentioned, as a theta brainwave state, and that's something you actually talk about in the book, or you chiseled and you chiseled and you reworked this book.
Well, you know, you're very generous to say that about the book, and it was the second option of the two. I have a process when I write. It's, you know, rush to beta and then polish. And so at first it was a very messy book, but I wrote it over 4 years. The 5 a.m. Club was written in Canada, Switzerland, St. Petersburg, Mauritius, Rome, Sao Paulo. And it was just a lot of work and, like you say, sculpting and optimizing and calibrating and polishing, because I wanted it to be the single best piece of work I've ever done in service of people who are interested in being more creative, more productive, living better lives, and making a better impact on humanity.
And as you were saying beforehand as well, when you finish a book like this, and this was to me a gargantuan task, it can leave you a little depleted, a little bereft for the moment.
Yeah, if you look at the great artists, and I'm not suggesting I'm any great artist, but if you look
I will for you. I will do that for you.
Thank you. That means a lot. If you look at the Michelangelos, if you look at the Beethovens, if you look at the Shakespeares, if you look at a lot of the great creatives, they weren't working 24/7, 365. They had seasons in the world and seasons in the wilderness. And that's how I work as well. And there's actually a model in the 5 a.m. Club that you know called the twin cycles of elite performance.
Yes.
And that's actually how I live my life. It's these very intense months where I'm producing and, you know, releasing a lot and doing a lot of videos, etc. And then I pull back to refuel, because I believe, you know, what makes legendary is longevity. And if you want to be in the game a long time, work in bursts of intense work and then pull back and refuel. And so you're right. Those 4 years took a lot out of me, intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually. And so I'm in some ways in refueling mode.
I like that very much. I'm thinking back to the end of our year here as we cruised in, we crossed that 1,000 show mark. And I did as best as I could to put it in autopilot and glide in on fumes and then refuel for a period of time. And then I truly believe if you want to be extraordinary, you have to do what the ordinary aren't willing to do.
Correct.
And so we hit the new year and I'm going, I want to be at the end of the year, actually a 4-day work week, writing more books, having more time to be with family. I call it a year of leverage and love. Leverage, build the systems, put them in place, love. It's all about heart and sharing that. And I said, all right, I really want more time for our family. Let's work weekends right now. In other words, let me dive into this rocket ship I've just refueled and let's put it into, as you're saying, that cycle where I get her done right now.
Yeah, the model in the book is the high excellence cycle and the deep refueling cycle. And so what the research says, and the Energy Project has done a lot of great research on this, but the most productive people on the planet are not the workaholics. The most creative and productive people on the planet work much more like sprinters than marathoners.
Mm-hmm.
So it's you go all in and work very intensely. And then what you do is you pull back and you recover and you refuel. Because otherwise, what happens is if you work longer and harder, you're actually depleting what I call the 5 assets of genius that I talk about in the 5 a.m. Club. Your mental focus,
Yep.
your physical energy, those 5 assets. And so you want to recover. I mean, if you want to get more done, have more vacation. There's even a concept I teach called the 5 great hours. I think the best way you can get more done and own your domain is to work, and this applies to entrepreneurs more than people who might be in corporations, but work 5 hours where you're fully engaged, where it's like sweaty work, where there's no phone, no distraction, and you're literally bringing your primal genius to every minute of that 5 hours. And after that, go out and mountain bike. After that, go take a nap. After that, hang out with your kids. 5 great hours is all you need every day over time to do world-class work.
I think you've just described my morning. Now, I get up somewhere between 4 and 5.
Okay.
I do my meditation, my automatic writing. I do some intention setting work, some big picture work. Jump out of that, get my green smoothie, go to the gym. So I'm in, then I'm out. And then I come back and I have 3.5 hours. Well, I may have a coaching session, then 3.5 hours to read an entire book, outline it, get it ready, dive in and go. And then I'm out again. I'm out in the woods playing. I have to dive in hard, dive out.
Well, I love hearing that. And the Japanese novelist who wrote a book on running, and it's something like What I Think About When I Think I'm Running.
Yeah.
I think it's Haruki Murakami.
Okay, awesome.
He said, when you're not writing the book is when you're writing the book. And John Lennon said, time you enjoy wasting is not time wasted. What I'm suggesting is when you actually get away from work and you're in an art gallery, or you're reading, or you're traveling. There's a lot of emerging science saying when we travel, it promotes our creativity. But when you're actually savoring life, you're actually incubating the ideas that will get you to your next level of work. So that's why that model in the 5 a.m. Club, the twin cycles of elite performance, is so transformational. It's during your day, put in your sweaty hours of intense work, and then go have fun and recover and rest so you can come back even stronger. But it's not just every day, every week. Take at least 2 days fully off technology. Take those 2 days and have fun and rest and get out into nature and read. And it's not only every week, every quarter, take at least a few weeks off. And then every summer, take some time off, because I think refueling has got a bad rap. And there's a lot of people out there suggesting you've got to work 24/7 in order to own the game. I think there's a huge difference between productivity, between being busy and being productive. Yeah. And I think the best performers and the real legends understand it's the quality of your work, not the amount of time you spend working.
No, and it's the result. And I mean, if you look at people on a 9-to-5 job, anybody, even your best performance, cannot maintain, this is about sustainability, cannot maintain their focus 9-to-5, and it's really 8-to-6 or who knows what, each and every day. Their maximum. I don't even believe the best of us are consistently getting 5 hours in when we're punching the clock. The brain doesn't work that way.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So I think it's important to do intense work and then refuel, for sure.
So you mentioned something earlier, and I'm going to pick on technology for just a minute. And I'm a techie guy. In fact, I just got my Tesla with the computer screen in the center of it and had to upgrade a phone so that I could actually talk with my car. But we are turning into what you are called cyber zombies. What is that?
Well, one of the brain tattoos in the 5 a.m. Club is an addiction to distraction is the death of your creative production. And if you look at restaurants right now, you see whole families not having conversations, not being present to the most important people in their lives. They're playing with their phones or their tablets. You look at people at work, I spent a lot of time in hotels, and there are people at various hotels, and what they're doing is if you actually look at their screen behind the separation counter, they're shopping. You look at people, they should be driving and they're texting. You look at a lot of people, they could be doing work that is going to make their fortune and serve the world, and they're addicted to video games. And we all see this. I think the larger point, Michael, is there are a lot of people who aren't present anymore. And one of the greatest gifts you can give your family and your friends, your work, is the gift of being present. So these cyber zombies are the people, and I know you see them. They're the people that you see out there. And they're not really there. They've sort of checked out. And I think you can be addicted to distraction, or you can live a life that is going to make history in your own unique way. You don't get to do both. And it really is a big issue in the world right now. We're all familiar with the dopamine loop and the reward system. And obviously, a lot of the social media platforms have been designed to addict us. And so we're spending the best hours of our best days, addicted to a piece of technology.
And the sad thing is the studies show, taking Facebook, not to pick on them specifically as an example, but the studies show it actually leaves us feeling depressed. The more time that we feel that we're on social media thinking we're connecting, the less time we're connecting with what matters most, and the more we're seeing the highlights, just cherry-picked highlights of people's lives, and are feeling not as good about ourselves.
Yeah, you're totally right. We're definitely seeing the highlight reel with filters, and we're seeing what people want to show us. And it's so true. You're speaking about social media depression, and it's very easy. There's a quote in the book. I think it's Roosevelt. Yeah, it is. It's Roosevelt, and he said, "Comparison is the thief of joy."
Yes.
And we live in a world where it's never been so easy to be seduced into comparing your life to the illusion that people are showing us. And if you look at the people who are living great lives, these are people who are not playing with their phones, and they're not, living their best hours on the social media platforms. They're doing work that expresses their creativity and serves the world. They're, present to the moment, doing adventures and out there in nature or reading or having fun with their friends, but they're doing things that really are satisfying and fulfilling.
Thank you. On that note, I'm going to shift gears to risk and discomfort and an awesome quote you have in here from Mario Andretti. If everything seems under control, you're not going fast enough.
Right. So the 5 a.m. Club is a story about three characters. There's the quirky tycoon. There's the artist who's frustrated because he knows he has genius within him, but it's unexpressed. And then there's the character who expressed that quote from Mario Andretti, which is the entrepreneur. And she's just speaking to the fact that her company has grown so quickly, it's all out of control. And one of the things I'm trying to do with the 5 a.m. Club is get people to rise before the sun. And anyone who thinks they can't do it, well, look at the book. I walk you through the habit installation protocol. The research from University College London says it takes 66 days, not a week, not 2 weeks, not 21 days, 66 days of practicing a new habit until you reach a point of automaticity, where it becomes easier to do the new habit than not to do the new habit. And so anyone can do this. The real gift of a human being and the real genius of a human being is our capability to grow. We all can grow and adapt. That's the neuroplasticity of the brain. And so what I'm trying to get people to do is wire in the 5 a.m. Club method, do the 20-20-20 formula. That will give you that serenity at your core that will allow you not to live your life out of control.
Beautiful. Now, I was going to save the 2020 for later, but since you brought it up, we might as well go there right now.
The way you begin your day is the core of how you're going to live your day. And your listeners, Inspire Nation, you want them to live amazing lives. They follow you passionately because they want to live world-class lives. Well, if your listeners only did one thing and they said, Robin, what's the one thing we would do?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many methodologies out there and there's so many philosophies out there. I believe the one habit that lifts every other habit is joining the 5 a.m. club. It's the mother of all habits. It's the DNA. And here's why. If you get that first hour from 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock, what I call in the book the victory hour, calibrate with the 20-20-20 formula. We can just, long story short, the first 20-minute pocket from 5 to 5:20 is move. Why do you move? Why do you sweat? You release BDNF. It's going to optimize your brain. It's going to release dopamine, which is going to give you that fire in the belly. It's going to reduce cortisol, which is the fear hormone. It's going to increase your metabolic rate, which is going to give you energy. That's why 5 to 5:20, that first pocket of the 20-20-20 formula, is so powerful. 5:20 to 5:40, that second pocket is called what? Reflect. Most of us are busy being busy, but what's the point of climbing mountains in our days only to realize on the last hour of our lives we climbed the wrong mountains?
Yeah.
So the billionaires I've coached, the NBA superstars I've worked with, the best of the best that I've mentored all have one thing in common: acute levels of clarity. They know exactly where they're going, what they want to stand for. So 5:20 to 5:40, you reflect, you write in a journal, you meditate, you pray, you think, you contemplate in a world where most people don't have any time to contemplate. Final pocket of the 20-20-20 formula is grow. Look, all the billionaires have one thing in common. All the superstars, you know what they realized? The master skill of the legends is a commitment to growth. The more you grow in terms of your learning, your confidence, your ability to express your gifts and your talents, the more you grow in terms of reading and learning, the more value you can bring to the world. And the world replies to the value that you bring to the world. So that's the 20, I go into it in much more advanced detail in the book, but that's the 20-20-20 formula. In doing that consistently from 5 to 6 a.m. over time is going to give you, exponential creativity, productivity, performance. But a lot of people don't talk about this. It's also going to give you inner peace. And if you don't have, I've worked with a lot of people who have billions of dollars and the mansions and the private jets, but nothing is more valuable than inner peace and joy in your heart.
I'm thinking of there's a billionaire in Thailand who a few years ago I went and we swam together at sunrise in Thailand I think in Phuket for the few weeks that I was there. We took that time, that sacred hour, and we're out in the water in the bliss.
Michael, I hear you. And I would say success without soulfulness is an empty victory. And our world right now is very much about success. And the 5 a.m. Club will explain how the best of the best become successful. It's a book that's so much more about morning routine. Like there's that model, the 10 rituals of daily genius, etc. But one of the things I also emphasize a lot in the book is success is wonderful, money's wonderful, a beautiful material life, it's all wonderful. But there are a lot of rich people and money is all they have. Mm-hmm. And nothing is worth the price of your joy. There are people who have very little money. I'm a level 1 ski instructor.
Cool.
So not the greatest ski instructor, but a level 1. Well, I hang out with ski instructors fairly often, and they are as a group, the happiest people I've ever met. And they say, I'm not rich, but I live a rich life. And so that's one of the key distinctions in the 5 a.m. Club, which is, yes, be successful. Yes, be creative. Yes, be productive. Build your empires. But I explain there are various empires, not only economic empires, there are empires of creativity. There are empires of productivity. There are empires of happiness. There are empires of spirituality. There are empires of philanthropy. And if you're not pursuing all of them, I think you could get to the end of your life and feel pretty empty.
Thank you. So let's talk about the 4 interior empires. Let's start with mindset.
Well, so I think if you look around the internet, everyone's talking about mindset. I think you'd agree. Mindset is everything, say the Instagram posts. And I say this with a lot of respect. I believe, and I've been at this 22 years, working with elite performers, working with Starbucks and Nike and FedEx and IBM, and, it goes on and on. So mindset isn't everything, I don't believe, because you can have a great psychology, but if your heart is broken, or if you're angry, or you're sad or disappointed, and you haven't worked through the toxic emotions in your emotional life, your creativity is going to be blocked, your energy will be low, and your performance will be weak. So in the 5 a.m. Club, there's that model, and I can show your viewers. Everything begins with, that's the core right there.
Bring it in good and close, come to the right and a little bit. And right about there. Perfect.
And the reason why that, I believe, is a transformational model is because all your outer empires, being more creative and productive and prosperous empires, those are all a function of who we are. You're never going to rise higher in the outer world than who you are on the inside in terms of your self-identity, your confidence, the fire in your belly, and your expression of your gifts and talents. So mindset is 25%. Your psychology, yes. Install healthy beliefs. Install the beliefs that you can get big things done. Install the beliefs of relentlessness and grit. Install all those beliefs. That's 25%. The second 25%, the second interior empire, is heart set, this word that I'm introducing. Your heart set, not just your mindset. What's your heart set about? In your journal, processing through past pain, meditating so you release past anger, working perhaps with healers to let go of those lower level toxic emotions so that you have a pure heart, a clean heart, so you work with love, so you're full of gratitude. We know all the research on gratitude. So mindset. But that's only the second interior empire, Michael.
Yeah.
The third, health set, another word I'm introducing. Energy is more valuable than genius.
Repeat that for me, please.
Well, energy is more valuable than genius. There are a lot of geniuses on the planet who don't execute, so they get nothing done. So health set is about working on your nutrition, your rest. There's a chapter on rest in the book. It's about biohacking. It's about exercising. It's about time in nature. All of the things the great productive people do so that they live long and have energy every day. So third interior empire, health set. And then the fourth one, and a lot of people might wonder about this one, but the fourth interior empire of the history makers is actually soul set. Mindset, heart set, health set, and soul set. Now, some of your listeners, probably not your listeners or your viewers, but they might say, soul set, that sounds very esoteric, Robin. I thought the 5 a.m. Club was about how to be a great producer. How do you own your domain? How do you change the world? How do you live a world-class life? Well, soul set to me is doing the inner work required to turn down the chattering voice of your ego, which is just your scared self. So you actually reconnect with that natural hero that lives at the core of every human life. final chapter of the 5 a.m. Club, as you know, it ends in Nelson Mandela's prison cell on Robben Island. So you want to talk about soul set. It's not weak and esoteric and mystical and not relevant. Soul set is what makes heroism. And every single one of your viewers has an opportunity to do the inner work required to re-access that inner hero. So they go out there and do world-class work and build lives that serve society. So those 4 interior empires, it's a lot more than just mindset.
Thank you. Let's talk about being a natural hero or bringing out the natural hero, because we are, so I have so many great, amazing listeners here who take all of this information in, but then have a very hard time stepping forward because we've been squashed. We've been squashed and we get very weak and we don't know how to exercise those muscles again.
Absolutely. So I hear you. And what I would say is simply this. If we try to do too much, we won't even start.
Yeah.
I believe it was Lao Tzu who said the journey of the 1,000 miles begins with a single step. If there's only one thing to do for all your viewers, just one thing, because if you do 1,000 things, you're not going to start. One thing. It's focus on getting up, joining the 5 a.m. club, and then running the 20-20-20 formula. Move, reflect, grow. That is going to galvanize your pharmacy of mastery in terms of your neurobiology. This applies to everyone. We all have this capability in our brain. It's going to increase your energy. It's going to increase your focus. It's going to reduce cortisol, the fear hormone. It's going to allow you, that victory hour process, it's going to allow you to think and meditate and remember who you once were when you were a little child and were full of awe and wonder before the world told you to play small. So there's just that, I'm going to show you the model again, the 20-20-20 formula. So your viewers have, so it's the deconstruction that I'll walk them through in the book. And that one thing, that reduces all the complexity. And that would be the starting point. And I would say, with great love and respect to your viewers, don't do it for a week, because that's just for a week. That's like saying, this new year, I want to learn Italian. I tried it for a week. I couldn't speak Italian. I guess I'm not the kind of person who can speak Italian. What made Kobe Bryant, or Coco Chanel, they understood that world class and living a gorgeous life is a process. So stay with the 5 a.m. club process for at least 66 days, which is what the research says is the length of time required to install a new habit to the point of automaticity, where it becomes easier to get up at 5 a.m. than not get up at 5 a.m.
Thank you. And that begets, we're going to go several directions here real quickly. First off, somebody who says, and we all have the excuses inside of ourselves. They're all ready to go. They're in their holster. They're loaded.
Yes.
But I'm an evening person, Robin.
I would say, if you're not open to trying a new type of food, you might miss your new favorite food. My daughter loves Italian food. So when I say, let's go try Vietnamese, oh, Dad, I love pomodoro pasta. If someone's not open, now she is open, but if someone's not open to trying something new, then you're going to live your life in what I call the safe harbor of the known. And we all know that what makes heroism and what makes a great life is a commitment to continually leaving your safe harbor of your known and going blue ocean. For you to become your next level of yourself, you must experience a death of sorts of your old you. The mystics call it the dark night of the soul. And so what I'm saying is, there are some people who say, well, I could never get up at 5 a.m. I'm saying, well, if you don't try it for 66 days, you'll probably miss the single best new habit that will not only make you more healthy, getting that first hour right, what I call the victory hour, makes your days consistently better. And if your days are your life in miniature, as you craft each day, you're going to craft your weeks. The weeks become months, the months become quarters, the quarters become years, and so you build your life. So anyone who says, well, I'm a night person, I couldn't get up early, take back your power. Try something new. Don't. A lot of us recite our excuses so many times we actually brainwash ourselves to think they're true.
Years ago, I had read Stephen Covey, I'd read Tony Robbins, the list goes on and on and on and on and on. It wasn't until, and I said this in our last interview together, it wasn't until I read The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari that I finally broke down and said, all right, Robin, I'm going to give this a try, because I was a night person. I had written a bestseller through the night in the coffee shops. There's no way you're getting me up early. But what it gave me back was my life. It gave me a chance to breathe. It gave me a chance to slow the clock down so I could step back, see big picture, and see my life rather than chasing my tail 24/7.
Michael, I hear you. And this is the thing. I mean, I'm so enjoying our time together. I appreciate it so much. And yet, the 5 a.m. Club and the Victory Hour, the 20-20-20 formula that I share in the book, it's just a concept to those of your viewers who haven't experienced it. And that's what you and I are talking about right now, to get up before the dawn, when most people are not, sending you emails. I mean, why did the great saints, sages, seers, authors, creatives, humanitarians, why did most of them get up between 4 and 6? It's because it is the single best time in the history of humanity and the world and the day to think and to work on yourself. I mean, you get up before the sun. There is such quietude. And in the book, there's a line that's tranquility is the new luxury.
Yeah.
So you get up at 5 and you're right. You get your life back. You can grow. You get time for yourself. You get time to think. You get time to contemplate. You get time to heal. You get time to work out. You get time to write in a journal and to slow things down and to get to know yourself again. To say, wow, my pain helped me. These difficult times served me. Look at all the good in my life. And now it's 6 o'clock, and because you've done that calibrated morning routine, the 20-20-20 formula, you have electrified your neurobiology. You've connected with your spirit. You've worked on your character. You're fundamentally different by 6 o'clock. Of course, you're going to react better during the day and make higher choices.
So I can't believe I'm going to throw another excuse at you. It's not where I planned to go, but it's just what I hear to call to ask, which is people who say, but my spouse, partner, otherwise won't go to bed early if I don't have their support. How in the world can I do this?
Well, I would simply say what makes a great relationship is working things out, right? What makes a great relationship is hearing your partner and saying, this is important to me. Okay, no sweat. We're in this for the long term. Let's find a way. What makes a great business is you have a problem and you find a solution. And so I would simply say to any of your listeners who says, well, my spouse doesn't get the 5 a.m. club, or if I get up early, I will wake him or her up. Figure out the routine. Maybe you do it 3 days a week. Maybe there's so many different configurations to do it. The key is to make a commitment and find a solution so you get the benefits of waking up early and having a really strong morning routine.
Thank you. Let's go from there. I'm going to go through some things real quickly here that seem critical to me. First off, day stacking. Just how important is it that we have repetitive patterns on a daily basis, regularity in our lives?
Consistency is the DNA of mastery. It's not what we do on January 1st that will allow us to lead a glorious year creatively, productively, prosperity-wise, and as a human being. It's what we do every day. And there's a brain tattoo in the 5 a.m. Club that has helped so many people around the world who've read my work. And it's small, daily, seemingly insignificant improvements.
Yes.
When done consistently over time, lead to stunning results. In other words, what makes a great life, what makes a hero, what makes a great business is not what you do once a year, it's what you do every day. And so in the book, there's the that model you're referring to is the 4 focuses of history makers.
Yeah.
And that's where the billionaire character teaches the artist and the entrepreneur these 4. And one of them is the day stacking concept, which is your days are your life in miniature. If you can just monomaniacally focus on making great choices in your 24 hours or your 14 hours while you're awake, then you do it consistently, the next day will be the same. It's not always perfect. Then you're going to have great weeks. Great weeks consistently lead to great months, great quarters, great years, great lives. So don't worry about living a great life or even a great day. Get your mornings right. And that's going to take care of the through line to build a great life.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I like how you said 24 hours, no 14 hours. That leaves us 10 hours for sleep. I'm loving it.
You know, that's a key point, Michael, because I misspoke, right? I went 24 hours, but we do have to sleep. A lot of people I'm noticing on the social media, I'm very active on Instagram and Facebook. They're saying, without having read, a lot of people have read the book already. It's been out only a short period of time, but the ones who haven't read the book say, well, the 5 a.m. Club, I'd love to have a great morning routine and work on myself and have more time for myself and prepare myself for the day. But it doesn't make sense because we know the science that says the number one factor that reduces your longevity is sleep deprivation. Well, there's a whole chapter in the book called The Essentialness of Sleep. And that's where the billionaire is in the catacombs of Rome. And he gives his mentoring session to the artist and the entrepreneur in the catacombs. And he says, you know, sleep is essential. We know the latest science. I think this is super cool. When you sleep, there is actually a mechanism that washes your brain. We know that muscles are repaired when you sleep. So the 5 a.m. Club is about getting at least 7 hours. They said the research says 7 to 9 hours of strong sleep. And there's even a model that explains your pre-sleep ritual, because your morning ritual depends on your pre-sleep ritual. Some quick tips for your listeners, right? No technology an hour before sleep. Try to take a bath, sleep in a cool room. And the final thing I'd say is keep your exercise gear close to your bed so you hit the ground running.
I actually set an alarm clock for going to bed at night. I don't need an alarm clock to wake up. That's why I say somewhere between 4 and 5, and actually sometimes it's 3. But having an alarm clock at night helps keep me from the distraction of one more thing. Just want to do one more email. Want to check one more thing. Once that alarm goes off, and it's actually 2 alarms. It's one that's about 40 minutes before. It says, have you shut everything down? And then it's the next one that says, why aren't you in bed yet?
Wow. I'd say bravo to you for that, because just to emphasize the point, you won't have a world-class morning ritual and be able to join the 5 a.m. Club and do the 20-20-20 formula, which is a complete life changer, if you haven't slept well. And so that is why that pre-sleep ritual is so important. You know, and you talk about an alarm clock. In the book, I actually encourage an old school alarm clock to wake up at 5 a.m. because it's so profound to sleep in a room without any technology. we all need recovery from technology. And so that old school alarm clock is a great tactic. I don't. You're probably using technology because you're a technologist.
No, no. I'm both a technologist. I just bought my first smartphone this week. I tried buying one last summer. It didn't work out. Bought my first smartphone in 10 years because
Really?
I don't even know my phone number. I don't have no, it's not for it's not for text. I don't do that. It's not for email. It
Okay.
is simply as a tool for what I want it for. But when I'm in technology, I'm in tech like this. I'm in deep. I'm using technology. It's the greatest thing in the world. And then when I'm off, I want to step away and be as far away from it so I can be with me, so I can be with my wife, so I can be with life and the experience. I don't ever want to be like this, looking forward into technology when I don't need to be there.
Well, it's interesting. I travel a lot, and I get to go to a lot of beautiful architecture. And it's interesting to see people in front of the Eiffel Tower, for example, and they're not looking at the Eiffel Tower, and they're not marveling the beauty, and they're not letting the magnificence and majesty of this monument touch their mind and heart and soul. Because I believe we're shaped by art.
Yeah.
Instead, they're more interested where their focus is and what's called their cognitive bandwidth. It's on getting the right selfie to get enough likes. They've missed the moment, and you never get those moments back. So I agree with you, and I actually say it in the book because I think it's really important. Technology is an amazing tool.
Yes.
I mean, you can change the world with a phone right now. You can influence millions. It's the addiction to technology that is the destruction of creativity and our personal humanity. Like these families sitting together where no one's talking and they're all on their devices. And, I was in a restaurant a little while ago with my family, and there was a couple. I'm not judging, just reporting. Yeah. And there was a couple, and the couple was talking, and they had a kid, probably 6 years old, with those soundproof headphones on, and his device.
I call it the babysitter.
Playing the game for the entire 2 hours that they were there. And he didn't say a word, and they didn't say a word. And, with children in particular, but our loved ones, you get a little window for opportunity. You don't get that back again. So technology is incredible. I've been able to serve a lot of people. I think we have 4 million on Facebook, on my Facebook page. I only mention that to say that I've been able to contribute a lot of value to a lot of people on that platform alone, thanks to technology. It's the addiction to technology that is the danger, I believe.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Studies show just putting the cell phone even on the table affects your relationships. Few last quick things. First off, you said life shaped by art, and I think you would agree we want to make life a living art.
Absolutely. And what I would do is, do you remember the model in the book, Joy is a GPS?
Yes.
I would say that would be my answer. That model is simply that model is about instinct is wiser than intellect. Mm-hmm. We live in a society right now, in a civilization, where if something intellectually makes no sense, we don't do it. We might fall in love with someone who isn't on our list, doesn't match our list of, here's what I want in a partner. And so because intellectually it doesn't make sense, we don't follow our heart. And we miss perhaps the ideal person. We want to start a business, or we want to do a project at work. It's impossible according to our intellect. We don't follow it. There's an adventure we want to pursue in our lives. Oh, but that doesn't make sense. I could never do it. Intellectually, it seems impossible. What I'm suggesting, that model is use joy as your GPS with respect to people, places, and pursuits. Trust your heart and follow. When you're with, you must have people in your life, you're with them, you just feel full of joy. Those are the people life wants you to be with. And there are places in your life, you just land in that city or that country, and you just go, whew, I'm full of joy. That's where life wants you to be. And then there are these pursuits. Joy is a GPS. There are pursuits. When you do them, for me, it's writing. For me, it's walking in nature. For me, it's reading. For me, it's great meals with interesting people. When I do those things, my heart is full of joy. It's your joy knows where you're meant to be. Trust it more than your intellect.
Thank you so much, Robin. So with that said, I want to talk willpower for one brief moment. In fact, you have a whole section of 531, Creed of the Willpower Warrior. Truth number 5 is what I want to mention here. Increasing self-control in one area of your life elevates self-control in all areas of your life.
This morning, I'm no guru. I'm not holding myself out to be anyone special. And yet this morning I got up. It was a relatively cold morning, and I got myself into a soul cycle class, which I love. And, I just sweated it out, and I pushed myself. And when I felt like coasting, I pushed even harder. Why? Because we know from the research that self-discipline and willpower is a lot more like a muscle than we previously realized. So when you do what you're resisting, whether it's getting into a soul cycle class early morning when you don't want to, even joining the 5 a.m. club, you want to stay in a warm bed, putting mind over mattress and getting, right? Putting mind over mattress and getting out of bed. That primary win at the front end of your day is you connecting to your heroism. And there is a payoff right there because you've just built your willpower muscle. And that growth in willpower then carries through to you listening to your children over breakfast. And it then carries through not hitting the horn in traffic, or if you're commuting, reading versus playing with your phone. And it just becomes these series of choices that is like an upward spiral of success to build a beautiful day. But it all starts by doing the things you are resisting to build your willpower.
Thank you. We have all been told we're less than. We're not as good. We're not worthy. We're not able to meet up with. I do love early in the book when you say done is better than good. But what is the true power within us that we all have?
Well, there's a lot. I would say the true power within us is first of all, it's the ability to grow. Our genius as a human race and as a human being, we all can grow. I mean, as simple as it sounds, that is our gift. We can be in a difficult time and grow. We were the same people who used to be on the savannah fighting saber-toothed tigers, and we evolved. The very nature of a human being is you have a brain designed with neuroplasticity, a heart that can grow. So all of your listeners from around the world, our gift, it might not be Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, might not be the Taj Mahal, might not be Harry Potter, but no matter where you are and what you're doing, you have the ability to become more of the person you've always wanted to be and get closer to the life you've always wanted to have. So number one. Number two, what else is our gift as a human being? It's to love. No matter how much pain you have in your heart, no matter how much self-loathing you have, no matter how much you've been hurt, no matter how tragic your past has been, every single one of the people with us in this conversation right now has the capability. They might not be intimate with it. They might not believe in it. They might not know it. It's just about digging through the mud to get through the gold. It's there. a capacity to love. Love yourself, love your work, love your family, love your neighbor, love the gloriousness of this life. Because if you have a roof over your head and food on your table and people who love you and work that brings you dignity, even if it's sweeping a street, you're a pretty blessed person.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. On that note, what advice, Jessica, my wife, the producer, always wants me to ask a question for their parents and their kids. What advice would you give parents to help their kids today?
First of all, be a great example. If you don't want your kids to be addicted to technology, then don't be addicted to technology. Number one. Number two, you're not just a parent of your children, you see yourself as a developer of your children. Take them to the Tate Modern Museum in London. Take them to the Louvre in Paris. If you can't travel, take them to your local art gallery. Cook food at home and have 3-hour meals together. But if there's a local person in your community that's wise, bring them home for dinner. But the second piece of advice or suggestion for parents is develop your children. Introduce them to great books. Have great conversations about productivity and philosophy and morning routine and geography and history with your children. Please don't say, well, they're 4 years old, I can't expose them to audiobooks. I mean, when you're driving in the car, put on one of your audiobooks, along with the stuff they like listening to, because you're going to plant seeds. And then the third thing I would say is fortify your children. It's a troubling world out there. It's very beautiful and it's very messed up. And
well put.
And make your home your sanctuary. Make it a place where there are books and there's great music and there's no toxicity. And fortify and build your children so they have confidence, belief in their own opinions, and inner strength. Then when they go off on their own, they'll be very strong, sensible, creative, kind people.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Robin, what personally brings you the greatest happiness, or what I call the woohoo factor?
I would say seeing my children continue to prosper. I would say protecting my health, my good health. I love what I do, so when I journal and I talk about my work, it's always in quotes because it's my work, meaning it's not work. So I get tremendous joy, even though, the 5 a.m. clock took me 4 years, like I mentioned. There were times of hard labor. It was painful and it was terrifying and it was beautiful and it was satisfying.
And it is stunning.
And that book changed my life. Writing the book changed my life because of what it made of me. So I would say, what brings me joy is definitely being on the creative journey and expressing my creativity through my books and videos and etc. Finally, and most importantly, my dad, he's in his 80s and he practiced as a family doctor for 54 years. He's a very wise man who I'm very blessed to have in my life. And he used to say, Robin, when you were born, you cried while the world rejoiced. Live your life in such a way that when you die, the world cries while you rejoice. And so what I'm suggesting is, what brings me my greatest joy along with personal growth is serving people. We don't know how long we're going to get to live, and life is an incredibly short ride, no matter how long your life is. And we just end up as dust, and the street sweeper is going to be buried next to the billionaire. And no one's going to remember me in the future. If I can help human lives in my own way, like every one of your viewers can, that's what it's all about. And that brings me great joy, helping other people.
Woohoo! Couple last quick things. First off, I got to ask, since you wrote this, and I know that whenever we teach, we put the mirror back on ourselves. How did writing this change your life?
Well, I went to the jagged edges of my creativity on this one. I maybe next time we talk, I'll share my writing routine. But essentially, I got really into fasting.
Yeah.
I would have a couple of cups of coffee in the morning. I would get on my mountain bike and get some fresh air and some exercise. And then I would sit there sometimes for 8 hours straight without moving. And in fasted state, I would just write. And so my self-discipline has grown. The standards to which I hold myself. Like I literally, you mentioned how you felt, how you experienced the quality of the 5 a.m. Club. I thank you for that.
Quote after quote. It was the most quote-worthy book that I have read in a very long time.
Thank you. And that's because of the work. It looks easy. It was every line over and over, calibrating it, perfecting it. I wanted the whole book to be a piece of craft that sort of is a wild ride between neuroscience and spirituality, prosperity and elite performance. How did the great women and men of the world start their mornings? It's this interesting journey. But doing that, I had to push myself. I had to push myself when I thought it was good and my editor said it was good to keep on going until it was whatever. And so that stretched me. And now when I'm with my team or we're looking at a video to post on YouTube or whatever, it's just got me to a whole new level of what I'm going to hold myself and my team at. There's a line in the 5 a.m. Club which is only produce magic. And so I'm actually holding, like I literally, it's much better to do one Sistine Chapel ceiling in terms of a project than 1,000 projects. And so I think it's much better to do a piece of magic, one piece of magic in your lifetime than 100 books or 100 videos or whatever. So it just changed the way I see work. Changed my standards, changed my my strength and bravery as an artist.
Awesome. Thank you. Where can people go to find your brilliant book and to find out more?
Thank you. As simple as it sounds, the5amclub.com. The5amclub.com. And that will it'll give some details on the book and it'll tell them where they can get it. It's just rolling out around the world right now, so it's in bookstores and online. It's in the form of an audiobook. The reader was amazing. He really brought the story to life, so I'm grateful to him. And I would like to mention, Michael, a lot of us read a book and then we don't know where to go after that. So what I've done with the 5 a.m. Club is at the end of the book, after they finished reading it, there's a free, and I want to emphasize free, a free 66-day online learning program with videos, morning mastery meditations, and all these resources to help people stay with the process of installing the 5 a.m. Club habit for 66 days until it becomes automatic. And again, the details are in the end of the book. So, because sometimes people DM me, how do you get it? It's in the book. And the final thing is a percentage of my royalties on the book goes to my children's foundation. I'm very passionate about fighting leprosy in the world.
Cool.
It's a very significant disease. And so a percentage of my royalties will go to help children with leprosy and children fighting poverty. So when your readers read the book, they not only invest in themselves, they're investing in helping people who are in need. So we can all feel good about that.
Awesome, awesome. So if you didn't catch the 5amclub.com, come on over to inspirenationshow.com. We'll get you over to the 5amclub.com. Last two things, I promise you this. First off, you have an amazing mantra, or the billionaire has an amazing mantra in the book. I am grateful, I am forgiving, I am giving. My life is beautiful, creative, productive, prosperous, and magical. What's your mantra, Robin?
Wow. Well, one of them is the old, I think it was the French physician Émile Coué.
Oh, yes.
Every day I'm getting better and better, right? Is that it?
Every day in every way.
Yep.
I am
That's
getting
right.
better and better.
Thank you. And I sort of change it a little bit. It's like every day and in every way, I'm getting better and better, stronger and stronger, happier and happier. So that's one of them. Yeah.
That'll work. Any last, this has been phenomenal. I want to go through and listen to this again. And this is not a book that you read once. And it is a book that's kind of cool. You could literally pick up the book, turn to any page, go, I need some guidance for today, turn to the page. And chances are, no matter how great you're doing, whether you're the billionaire, the NBA star, you will still learn from what's on that page.
Yeah, I would really encourage. This is a book that's very layered. So the first time you're going to read it, you're going to, as you mentioned, get massive value for the investment in the book. And then the second time you read it, it's going to be a whole new book. And the third time you read it, it's going to be a whole new book. So I would encourage readers of the book to read it many times and really study it. There's a lot in there that comes with reading the book and studying it over time. In terms of final advice that you're asking, I would just say, the subtitle of the book, Own Your Morning, Elevate Your Life. Get that first hour from 5 to 6 locked and loaded by running the 20-20-20 formula. And do it for at least 66 days and then judge by results. And that's going to lead to more creativity, more productivity, more money, because a lot of people, that's a big issue, better health, just by getting your morning right, because you're reconnecting with your mindset, heart set, health set, and soul set.
Woohoo! Thank you so much, Robin. This has been truly phenomenal.
Michael, I thank you. You've been so kind to me in the past time that we spoke, and when I saw your name and your request, it was an absolute yes, and I've really enjoyed it, and I really thank you a lot.
I can't thank you enough, Robin. It so goes both ways. So for all mine. So for everyone out there, this is Michael Sandler saying, be well, have fun, get the 5 a.m. club, and begin owning your morning and elevating your life today, and shine bright. Woohoo! Thank you so much, Robin.
Michael, it was a pleasure. It was great to see you, and thanks for your kind words about the book.
Thank you so much, and thank you for taking the extra time with me here today.
No sweat. It was a pleasure to do that for you.
Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like below. Also, leave your comments. Have some real fun with it. Subscribe to our channel where you're going to get more great videos, more interviews coming up. And check out our website, inspirenationshow.com. That's where you'll find tips, blogs, information, videos you won't find anywhere else, and useful and helpful resources to really help you kickstart your life and to shine bright. Thanks so much again. Thank you for your support. Like, comment, subscribe. See the website. Thanks so much and have fun. Of course, shine bright. Woohoo!